Our goal is to wire up the presentation layer to the business layer. We've created the main form, which will pop up, which will begin as soon as the user begins to execute the program. It'll allow the user to add new applicants, and we've got a dialog for that as well. It's a very, very simple dialog. We're simply adding first name and last name. So, how do we link the GUI to the business layer? And initially, there's 3 steps that you want to follow. The first step requires the presentation layer to have a reference to the business layer. So right-click on References, add a reference. Because it's in another project called the business layer, it's very easy to simply click OK. The next thing that we need to do is when we actually look at the code inside of the main form, we're going to add a using statement. So we'll be using the business layer. And finally, we need to declare the variable that we're going to be used. In this case, school contains the linked list. And finally, you need to instantiate it, which can be most appropriately done in this case right inside the constructor. And I'm simply calling the constructor for my school class. Okay, good. The next thing that I need to do is I need to just perhaps very quickly review where we are with our business layer. If we take a look at the class diagram, we see that we have applicants, and probably what we need to do next is to be able to add a new applicant. We'll add a method to do this, so we'll do it using class details here. We'll simply add a new method, which will be add new applicant. It will be void and public. I'm going to click on the triangle here to add parameters. It'll be first, which will be a string, and last, which will also be a string. Looking at the code here, you can see that when we add a new applicant, we simply need to remove the exception that's thrown before we actually implement any code. And to add a new applicant, I'm simply going to go applicant A equals new applicant, A dot first name equals, and I'll take the argument that's being passed in, A dot last name equals the second argument that's being passed in. And then to my linked list of applicants, I simply go, let's add the latest applicant that we've created. Okay. Now, we've got our business layer all tidied up. And just to demonstrate that this is working a little bit later, I'm going to put a breakpoint on it. But let's go back to our Add Applicants dialog, and let's double-click on the button, which will bring up an automatically generated event handler. And in here, we'd like to actually add that applicant. Now to do this, I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I know that the owner of this particular dialog is the main window. So if I know that, owner, okay, if I go owner.school, you can see that I currently don't have access to my variable that's a member of my main school form. So I'm going to open up the code here, view the code for my main form. I'm going to try making this public. Okay. And secondly, when I switch back to my code, if school still doesn't pop up, it's probably because owner is a generic class that deals with controls in general. So I need to be able to typecast owner to the specific type of form it is. And in this case, it's the main school form. And just for precedence, I need to go there. Now I've got school, and that variable allows me to do things like deal with add new applicant, which is exactly what I want to do. And to pass in the correct information, I need to get the information out of the two text boxes. So the first argument is text box first dot text, which gives me the string that I'm looking for, and text box last dot text. Okay, and that's pretty much all I need to do to wire things up. So just to make sure you understand what's happening here, the main form is going to respond to the user clicking on the menu item, which will bring up my dialog to add a new applicant. When the user types in to the two control boxes, the first name and the last name, and then hits the Add Applicant button, I'm going to go to the business layer, and in my link list, I'm going to add the link list of applicants. I'm going to add a new applicant, and life should be good. So let's test it and make sure that everything's working. Here's our main application running. I'm going to add my first applicant. And here's my breakpoint stopping, so we can see that A consists of an applicant, and our applicant has first names and last name of Ed Sheldon. And if I hit F10 to step over this piece of code, I can see that my applicants, the linked list of all applicants, has exactly one applicant, and because it's zero based, it's Ed Sheldon. Okay, the next dialog will view all applicants, and we'll work a little bit more on maintaining the loose coupling that we've created so far between our presentation and our business layers.